So, what we're going to do is we're going to go into GridRunner, and I've cut the intro short because somebody was moaning. I'm going to go into GridRunner in a bit, but I wanted to show you what I'd been up to, and not spend a lot of time on it. But I'm going to try and explain what I've been doing. I've been trying to. I was trying to think of a game that I could build in Pygame, and I came across a GitHub that had made, spoiler, close that, had made, here we go, this one, asteroids. Now, this guy has taken this guy has taken asteroids to the extreme. I mean, it is object orientated, it is really, really clever. But let me open up the proper folder, because that's not going to work. It's that one. Here we go. But what he's done, he's made a, if you didn't know it was in Pygame, watch this. Oh, is it still erroring? No, it's sorted itself out. Watch this. There we go. This is a, I mean, I've got MAME, and I've been playing asteroids in MAME, the real one, the 1979 one, and I'm telling you now, this is bang on. It's identical. Well, I'd say it's almost identical, but it is identical. Ah! Oh, I learned to do this, didn't I? Anyway, enough of the gameplay. So I thought, okay, if this guy can do it, then I can do it. So I gave myself a challenge of, I also challenged Stacy, but he beat me. Didn't understand the rules. Yeah, I'm going to nick the sounds. I'm going to pinch the sounds. But this is on GitHub, right? And so if you've been following my Discord, you'll be knowing that my progress. But I challenged. Oh, come here, close. I challenged everybody to do asteroids, and only I did it. So I'm working on the UFO at the moment, but this is my version, right? There's no sound in it because I ain't got there yet. But I've been trying to hone my Python skills, so when we do the Hunchback project, that I can be able to answer with some sort of authority on how to do things. So this is my version, and it's a bit rough and ready. If it fires up, come on. Oh, hang on. I'm going to have to take that UFO out because I'm still messing. Where is it? There. Oh. And of course I've introduced a bug. Where's the other one? So that is draw. Where's update? No, it's not that. Right. I'm just trying to work out the mechanics of the the spaceship, the flying saucer. So this is mine version, right? So it's not as quick. I've changed the ship because someone went and said you don't know where you're pointing. I thought, yeah, that's a perfectly legitimate thing. It's got firing. Like I say, there's no sound on it. Not very good at this game, even though I've been playing it all weekend. Ooh, boom. And it's just basically I was just I was hoping someone would take up the challenge and try and do it, but it's my way of learning how to do this. So we have a game library which is just looking after the game cycle. We got a points library that works just on the points. So you know the points that come on the screen when you hit the thing and the points in the corner. We have a text library. Oh, cheers for the bits, Gary. No. I was trying to bring some competitivism into it, but I've done this. So because the Hunchback series has started, right? So I've started releasing to you guys patrons. The rest of the world will see it in 2 weeks' time. I've started it. So I'm hoping now that you guys will start thinking about how to code Hunchback. And I thought, if you want to code something else, I mean, Asteroids is a very simple game. You got floating asteroids around, you've got a ship, and you've got bullets. Eventually the UFO will be in there, but it's simple. Yeah. The complex thing about it, you still think your name in the box is better. Well, mate, you beat me to it. I didn't do a name in the box. I just built asteroids. But it's a way of learning Pygame. If you give yourself a simple game to do and just go ahead and try and do it. The complex thing in here was all the angles, working out all the angles, right? Because when you run it, right, it's all angles. Right, so you've got the asteroids going in a particular way. You've got the spaceship going in a particular way. You've got inertia working on the ship. You know, that it doesn't stop straight away. And it's all angles. You know, even the asteroids can be up to 12 sides. And then I've added some randomization in there to make them not equal. But I could change it. Hang on. I could change it by, where's my constant? Well, yeah, I've tried to make it true to the original as I could. The next iteration of this is modernizing it, yeah, using a proper spacecraft graphic, using proper asteroid graphics, using proper laser beams and stuff like that. Just so you've got the 1970s version, and then you use exactly the same code for the modern day one, and the only difference is how you render it on the screen. But the mechanics of the game should be identically the same. The hitbox detection is because I'm not using sprites. I'm using polygons. Because if right, if I show the hitbox, so if I do true, that'll turn on the hitbox. We'll turn on the center points. Jaggedness. Right, this is where I make that's the jaggedness. So if I run it now, they will be perfect polygons. But you'll also see, there you go. Can you see the orange? That is the hitbox. And as you can see, all the asteroids are perfect polygons. They're almost so perfect that they're being covered by the by the hitbox. So if I turn the hitbox off, let's just turn the hitbox off for the moment. There you go. They're my asteroids. Perfect polygons. In fact, oh, no. There's one with, is that 8 sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, no, it's 7 sides. So it's 5 to 10 sides. So that is not adding any sort of deviation to the vectors. But I've got a setting in there that you can say how jagged you want. So you can have no jagged, or you can have completely jagged, right? So when you run it, you end up with asteroids that are very spiky. Yeah. Very, very spiky. So let me put it back to how it was. I worked out it's about 0.4. 0.4 looks very similar to the original. There we go. So what I was trying to do is I was trying to learn the mechanics, because I've done Hunchback, yeah, and in a way that I've tried to code Hunchback in Pygame like I would code it in 6502. So we're not using objects. We're not building objects. Not like this guy that did this, right? So this asteroid is highly objectified. You know, it's really, 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 really clever the way he's done it. Really clever. And I've learned a lot just looking at this code. Absolute bucket loads I've learned on how to do games and do them right. Because I'm not a game maker in essence. I mean, look at Neptune Lander compared to Mark's Neptune Lander. You know, my Neptune Lander looks like it was built in the 1970s. But this guy, he's highly objectified it, so when you run it, it looks like, I mean, I've got to figure out how to make it do full screen. How the hell did it? Oh, it doesn't come out full screen on there, but it is full screen on my monitor. And how did he do it? Oh. Anyway, so I've been I set myself a task to code asteroids before you guys start coding. So I wanted to be able to code. I wanted to be able to help you guys out when you come to doing it, because like I said, I've done Hunchback like I would have done it in 6502. So it has a file that's dedicated to the character. It's got a file that's dedicated to the map generation. It's got a file dedicated to the game loop. It's got a file that's dedicated to the ninja. A file dedicated to the flames. I don't. Have you seen? I've been posting. I'll show you. So here's a sneak preview of Hunchback. Let's see if it's there. It should be there. Yep, here it is. So I've got dedicated files for the different aspects, which is what I would have done, well, which is what I did with Neptune Lander. We had a library for the lander, a library for the memory, a library for the constants and all that. So I've tried to make it, try to code the Python and not to try and objectify it, if that's the right word, right? Because I want to be able to translate this into 6502. So I've tried to keep it like that, and you'll see in my videos, and I think I said it on the first one anyway, that I want you to program it like you would program the Commodore. So you're going to program your Pygame like you would code the Commodore. And the only times you'd use objects is because Python has objects like the sprite object and stuff like that. Now this, well, that's basically what I'm hoping we're going to do. That once, I think there's 5 videos, I think. You've seen the first one, which is the sprite one. I think there's 5. But that's what I want to do, is that we, basically, once it's done, if you want the assets for this, if you want to make a Hunchback game, which is using the assets that I've got here, so if I fire this up, hopefully it's not broke, because I've been messing around with it a bit. Oh, it's going straight to level 7. Hang on. Let's put it back to level 1. Don't know if you can see that. So this is just Hunchback, and I've tried, like I say, it's not Hunchback. I've just used free assets that I found online. I'm no good at art, I'm no good at sound, and no good at music, but I'm more right at programming. So the ninja is the equivalent of the soldier, so he follows you when he lands. And currently there's no bad guys on this level. Level 0 is no bad guys. And the whole point is to get from one end to the other, grab the coin. Yeah, then you go on level 2. And as you go, the levels get harder and harder. Now I think this one's the boulders, the flying boulders. Here we go. And it's basically just to do that. And then I've got, I mean, the other bad guys, I think we might see them here, are the fireballs. Here we go. There we go. One fireball. Ah! And I've put in there extra lives. So when you get 5 coins, you get an extra life and all that. So I've done all that. But the whole point of it is I've done this as an example for you guys, right? And so I've learned all about gravity, because there's gravity in here to keep the character on when you do the jump, keep the character to the floor. But as you can see, there's a module just dedicated to doing the rocks. There's a module for the player life. That's, you know, how many lives they've got. And there's modules to do the other thing. I mean, where have we? We've got the coin, axe. Oh, you didn't see the axe. There's an axe that spins through this. And all these levels are driven by this configuration file. Admittedly, it's in JSON because that's all Python understands. But when it comes to the 64, this would be a level table and stuff like that. So I've tried to make it that how we would code it on the 64. But this is not for me to give to you. This is for you to have an idea of how I did it. So when it comes to you doing it, you have, if you want the assets, if you want to do the same thing as me, where you could use the ninja as the hunchback character, you could use the knight as the character that's in between, because I couldn't find any sort of character for the knight, so I've used a girl. That's what level 7 is, because I was testing it. And basically, all that happens is the girl just jumps. And that's the only thing. So, there we go. So the girl's there, look. And the only way they get you, she jumps. Yeah? She also looks at you in disgust when you go past her. I think level 8 is where not the name Jason. Jason, J-S-O-N. Go on, you can do it. Oh, timed it to perfection. That's the first time I've done that. Timed that to perfection. Right, this one is where everything is thrown at me. Oh, dead. But so this is the thing I want in the Hunchback community project, and the reason why I'm talking about it now is because I've started releasing the videos. So the Hunchback community project was about where all you guys learn Pygame because we want to develop it in a higher level language to understand the mechanics. Now I understand the mechanics, so I will be able to help you guys build your own. If you want to use the assets that I've got, yeah, it was lucky jumping. But if you want to use the assets that I've already got, I'll give you the assets. I don't mind. If a person is a graphic person out there and wants to build some graphics, then please do, because I've just nabbed some free ones off the web. You know, I didn't even pay for any. They were all free. They're all free to use. But I've built a Hunchback style game out of all those assets and try to mimic the Pygame philosophy, sorry, not the Hunchback philosophy. I've extended the stage, so it's not just the one screen, you now moving, so you don't even see what's coming to you until they enter the screen area. So you don't know how many rocks are coming in any direction. And hopefully that when you guys, when we've done that process of building a Pygame, hopefully there's going to be 3 or 4, maybe more. It depends how many people do it. I'm hoping we're going to have a load, because then we can look at all the different games and take the best bits of the game and try to make one game with all those aspects in there, but then code it in 6502. And that is where everybody will learn how to code it, and we're going to give people specific things to do. We'll figure out how we're going to standardize on all the stuff, but that's what I wanted to do. So I set, yeah, and so this weekend I gave myself the objective to, and I was having a laugh with Stacey and C64 Mark about who's going to get there first, and that's why I did Asteroids. It's a simple game. All the graphics on the screen are just polygons. They're not static graphics. They're not images. That's the next stage where I bring it up to date. But if you want to learn Pygame and be more effective in the Hunchback arena, think of an early game, early late 70s game, Space Invaders. I did Asteroids. There's Pac-Man, Centipede. You know, all those early games. Try avoiding the platformer, because that's what Hunchback's going to be. And just try and just do it. I mean, there's no. This is not a race. The Hunchback project's not a race. It's going to be a project that's going to be running in the background. We're going to come back to it every now and then. Probably have some streams where we look at what we're doing. Have some collaborative sessions, because we can We can do that with the live share. You know, we'll have I could have the project here and just let you guys go for it, and we just talk about it. But I'm trying to get you guys to. I know you want to code in 6502, but let's try and crawl before we start walking, because some of you guys are still noobs, and there's nothing wrong with that, because the whole point of this is to learn 6502. But I've thought that it would be a good idea to learn a different language, a modern one, that would be the equivalent of BASIC back in our day, and be able to code the game in the modern language as well as 6502. And it'll, like you would do when you was trying to build a game. Cosmic Gorillas. Never heard of it. I'll have a look at. I'll go and try and find it. Cosmic Gorillas. You got a link? But you know, Donkey Kong, another one. That's a very simple game. You know. Try avoiding the platformer, because that's, like I say, that's the Hunchback. But oh, is it your game? Oh, right, okay. So I've done Asteroids, which is it's a very simple game. It's all about angles and stuff like that. Oh, you're porting. Oh, right. A game you're porting. I'll have to look it up. Oh, you've been putting some videos in Discord, haven't you? Is those the maps that you've been showing off? Anyway, so think of even if it's Pong, which is the ultimate simple game, or even Breakout. That's another game. That's all about angles as well, but that's another game that can be easily done in Pygame. All right. Aren't you supposed to rescue the people? Oh, right, okay. So what's the point of the game then? If you're not meant to rescue the people... Right. Right. This could be done very easily in Pygame. For the first 10 minutes. Oh my god, 46 minutes. Let's move it on. I'm not playing this. Right. Okay. Alright. Well, that could be very easily done in Pygame. Really easily. So that's the sort of thing I was thinking of. That is, if you find an oldie type. Well, I mean, what year was this game in? 79. And then write it in Pygame. Then that will give you that will hopefully make you allow you to learn the Python/Pygame language. I mean, I learnt a lot by just looking at the other guy's asteroid code. I didn't copy it because that's cheating for one. But what it did is it gave me the ideas on how I could do it in the 6502 theme. So I should be able to convert that asteroids into a 6502 game pretty easily once I've overcome the vector graphics. And I think that's something that you guys should consider as well, is find an early game, you know, Pong, Breakout, well, I've done Asteroids. If you can do Asteroids, if you want to, be interesting to see what other people come up with. Space Invaders, Pac-Man, all those type of games. You know, I did think about doing Star Wars, that one. But then I thought, ooh, that's maybe a bit too much. You know, Phoenix, Myriad, Gallagher, all those games. Just basic shooters and stuff like that, which will teach you how to code in Pygame. So when we come to doing the platformer, then at least you've got a better understanding of Pygame, yeah, Pong, and allow and be able to allow you to build a platformer far easier than having to having two problems to overcome, which is one, Python/Pygame, and two, how a platformer works. Yeah. So I did this because I want to learn Pygame and Python more, and I have learned a lot doing that this weekend. I've learned an awful lot about some of the cleverness that's in Python and Pygame. And that's why I'm going to finish it off. I'm going to finish it off and put... I'm doing the UFO. As you can see, I've got a UFO file where I've just figured out how to... I've got the proportions of the ship right. So it, let me re-enable it. Because the ship was pretty awful when I'd done it. I couldn't get the proportions right. Where's the drawer? There it is. I couldn't get the proportions right, so I was battling all day. I think it was Monday. There you go. There's the ship. So let me move my ship out of the way. So that's the ship. Yeah, that's the ship. And I looked at the. There was a picture on the web about the ship. So and I actually tried to work it out. Look. Yeah, it's intentionally big. It's intentionally big because what I've done is I've when you bring it up, see that's a large LGE, so that's a large ship. So we could do the small ship. Yeah. So when I run it, it should be a really small ship. There you go. See? Still the same code. It's just that the maths I've attached a ratio to the small category that scales everything down. And same, I've also got a medium sized ship. So when you run it. There you go, there's the medium ship. And so what I'm thinking of is when the UFOs come in, it will be a random of size. So I'm hoping to have 4 sizes. So there's the large, the medium, small, and I'll have an extra small, which is a really teeny tiny one. And the smaller the ship, the more points you get when you hit it because it'd be harder to hit. And so and that's what I'm trying to put in there. So this is me understanding Python and Pygame more than I did when I was doing Hunchback, because the Hunchback game was all sprites. See, Pygame has sprites. It has inbuilt sprites, and it makes life a lot easier, really easy. The collision detection, there's not a problem with the collision detection. It handles that for you. But here you see, I'm not using sprites. This is all basically polygons, yeah. And I'm having to work out my collision detection, and that's why I've got a setting here that says show my hitboxes. So if I put that back to true, this will now show all the hitboxes. There you go. So we've got the hitbox. See, the hitbox for the spaceship is not quite right. Yeah? But they're all the hitboxes. Yeah? So as you can see, you could have a spike of the asteroid go right through, right through you. And it'd be that, whew, that was close scenario. Because you don't need to be pixel perfect. I mean, when you get into, see at the moment they're slow, but I'm going to on the initial level 1, these asteroids will be moving a little bit more rapid, And as you progress through the levels, they're going to get even faster. You're not going to even know if you hit it or not, right? And so I have used these circles as my hitboxes, yeah? So like that one, see? Like that one, it actually hit me, but went past. The other one got me though. So I just wanted to show you what I'd been doing over the weekend to learn, to be able to support you guys when you're learning Python and Pygame and building your own game. But I also recommend, because it was such a big learning experience for me, one, looking at that other guy's code and understanding how he was doing things, and two, it makes you more confident in the language that you're developing in. Because if you're not confident in the language you're developing in, that can be also a bit of a put off. And I don't want to have people saying, oh, I can't do it, I'm not going to do it, and then I end up with nobody that's wanting to do this, and I end up doing it myself. And I don't really want to do that. I don't want to have to code anything. For the 6502 bit, I've done the libraries. I've done the sprite library, I've done the joystick library, the keyboard library is the next, and JML, one of my Patreons, has done a screen library which allows you to set the character set and the screen location, the Vic bank. Needs tweaking, but for saying that somebody who's come in and not knowing a lot about 6502 and the C64, they've already built a screen library that I think we can use as part of our Hunchback library when it comes to 6502. So please have a go. Think of a game like that Cosmic, whatever it was, Cosmic Gorillas. Yeah, like that, because that would be that can be easily done in Pygame. And there's plenty of Space Invader graphics out there, Space Invader type graphics out there that you can use. And if you use the techniques that I did for the first set of videos, where I did the Man in Mars, which is just basically moving a picture around the screen, yeah, and not use the sprites, because you'll find out about the sprites. You've already found out about how to the basics of the sprite, but then we'll go into more detail later on. But if you work on a game that is not Hunchback, you will get benefit out of that, because you'll start to understand how Pygame works. So I'm hoping that you guys do that. I'd like to have a competition, see who can do it quickest, but I'd win. So I don't want to do that. I want to see what you guys can produce. And a name in a box is a good achievement, but it's not a game. Putting the name in the box may be a game. having the name in the box. So, all right, enough about that. Let me know what you think, because if you're up for it, then I'll help you. Because I would like to see what you guys could produce. If you want to do asteroids, then fine. I can give you the link to the GitHub of this bloke that did it to the nth degree. But his task, as he put in his GitHub, was to recreate the 1979 game, and he's done it. He's absolutely done it. It just looks like the game. Even the font. I mean, I don't know how he did the font. This is your game. Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see what you're capable of, mate. The question is, could you do this in Pygame? Now, that's the question. Doing it in Atari ST is dead easy, but could you do it in Pygame? I mean, you get old and lazy. But yeah, do it. I mean, do it in Pygame. If you think you can do it. But anyway, if you want to do it, let me know. If you say to me, John, I fancy doing Space Invaders, or I fancy doing Cosmic Gorillas, or I fancy doing Pac-Man, just let me know, because I'll try and help out as much as I can. But it's a good learning exercise for Python and Pygame. Because now we're starting the Hunchback project, and when I've done the 5 videos, that's where we start. That's where I want you guys to start working on your own version of Hunchback. Anyway, enough of that. But we're going to have some more streams of Python and Pygame, because until we get to the 6502 area. But I'm going to convert this asteroids in. I'm going to try and modernize it. So we're going to have 2 versions. Like I say, the 1979 version where it's all vector graphics, and then a modern one where we're going to have proper rock images, proper ship, proper lasers, get some sound in there, proper sound, and maybe proper text as well, instead of the boring old, was it Tahoma or something like that? What text is it? I can't remember. I think it's Tahoma. Yeah, Tahoma. Anyway. Where is... That's GridRunner 2. So here we are at GridRunner. And there's my version. Hang on. Why is it saying modified? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I changed it because we're putting the screen locations into memory, and he's got it in lower memory. And so I've copied it. And the reason I've copied it is because he uses lower memory later on. Right, so basically, F6, this is what we're up to now. This. So we've got it so we can secretly up the level. And I've got the debouncing in, so, you know. Oh, I haven't got the keyboard thingy running, have I? There we go. So it's stopped. It's not bounce. I've stopped the debouncing now. Is that still not showing? Really? Oh, there we go. Why is it not showing? Ah. Oh well. That's useless on the screen. It's not showing out, is it? It works when I touch it, but as soon as I come away from it, it stops. Oh, that's useless. Turn it off, John. Who cares? Right, so I've stopped the debouncing, and it circles properly. It goes up to 32 and then circles round, I think. Yeah, there we go. So the next thing is to do the firing. So let's get the original GridRunner up, which is in there, that one. Oh, pressed F5. So now we're doing the next bit, which is, let me see if I can pause it. Fire. Got it on the wrong one. Swap. Which is that bit. So it's enter battle stations, and let me see if I can slow this thing down. There we go. It's going to sound a bit funny at the moment, but as he's cycling through the colours, the sound's going up. Let's and then we've got that one and the materialization. So that's what we're going to try and do first. No, we'll turn that off. So first thing we've got to do is the battle stations entering level and try and see if we can replicate that sound effect. Oh, I forgot to open my drink. Cool. Been streaming for an hour and I've only just started. Get in there. Oh, I wish the central heating was on. It's absolutely freezing. Anyway, so we're going to try and do the battle stations and the sound effect for the battle stations. So we'll create another routine that does the battle stations. Stick it at the bottom for the moment. So we need to so the battle stations was down here, I think. Enter level. I think that was it. Yeah, so that's enter level, battle stations. There we go. So battle stations enter. So this is the text that we need. So we'll copy that and paste it with the rest of it. There we go. So he's got. So he's clearing the screen and then. Right, so this is the putting on the screen. So we might as well copy that. Because the only difference I would do. I mean, he has a nasty habit of doing -1. Nasty habit of doing -1. We're not going to do that. So we're loading X there. In fact, are they both the same length? They're not both the same length. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F, 1 0 1 1. So that's 1 1. So that's got to be the same. Battle station's colour. Oh, that's the battle station actual colour. Okay. Okay. So where's the... I don't know if you can hear that. There's lots of death happening downstairs. Right. So we need a clear screen that clears only the first two, because this is the clear game screen area. And that looks alright. So I'll copy that. That looks alright. Get rid of that. I don't think I would have done that any different. Nope, I don't think I would have done that any different. So he's clearing the screen and then he puts the characters on the screen. So we'll do the same thing. Now the fun bit is where he goes and battle stations. Where he goes off to do his sound effects. That's going to be the one. Don't know if you can hear that. Sounds like an orc is dying. So what is he doing here? So it looks like he's setting up the level counter. So we'll see what we're getting at the moment. We'll put an RTS in there. Where's our game looper? Yeah, let's see what we get. So we should now have... Oh. So press fire. Am I testing for fire? No, I'm not. Well, that would help. But I am. Sure I am. There we go. Where's that go? Oh, it goes back. Branch if equal to 0. That should be right. Oh, it's 0. That's because I didn't press a key. Go. Go, go, go. Right. Where can I store that so I can see it? Right, I am storing that in where? Joystick import, which is 14 or OE. Okay. So we're looking at OE. There, that's the one. Joystick on. Fire. Why is it not picking the joystick up? Oh, that's probably because I've got it set up wrong. No, it's on port 1. Or is that fire? No. Or have I put it on port 2 now? Oh, I've probably put it on port 2. Right. Fire. Fire. There we go. Okay. Battle stations on there. Grid areas on there. That is off center. That is off center, isn't it? Needs to come back. Also, I need to 12 minus 1, 11 DMI. Yeah, it does look a few characters out. Well, I've definitely broke that. Deck should set the minus, shouldn't it? That's just done one character and it's just dropped out straight away. Yeah. $11. Decrease. Branch of... Oh. Silly me. Right. So fire. There we go. Right, so we're missing a 0. We are missing a 0. Just put that back to 12. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So he's got a space in there. Why is it? Right, we'll take the space out. We'll stick it on the end. Why has he got a space in there? No idea. Is there a double space in there? No. Okay. Right, so there's going to have to be another space there. But... put a space in there, that will centre it, won't it? And then we'll have 2F here. Right, so that should have centred it. On there. Right, let's shift F6. Let's see how far out we are. I think it's that one. Yes, that one's the one. Oh, you can't see much. About it, isn't it? Right. To be honest, this is off center as well. So it starts at... Oh, hang on. That's not telling me the... It's not telling me the column number. Yeah, it's not telling me the column number. Never mind. But it's not, that doesn't look centered. But anyway, let's not bother with that. Right, press fire. Fire? There we go. So it's still grabbing the next character. And we have 2 spaces there. We can use that. But it's still grabbing the next character. Right. That's better. Right, we've just got to bring it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got to bring it back 2 characters. The whole thing, got to bring it back 2 characters. Right, my constants are there. That's for the original game, so I can hit that. So we are storing it in screen location. Right, let's find the definition. There it is. So we need to bring it 2 characters back. So that's CB, isn't it? And same with that one. B. Right. Let's see if we've got this nailed now. That's better. So now we need to have a loop that's going to cycle through the colours here and do that sound effect. So we need to understand what that sound effect is and how it's doing it. So let's get rid of all that. Open up that. That'll do. Right, so there's the. So this is where he's right. So he's winding up the current level. But he's using a number of lives. Oh, he's doing that stupid number of lives trick again, isn't he? Increase it, load it, decrease it. Don't know why he's doing that. Right, current level number. Here we go. So this is where he is where's X? Where's he load X from? Here. Current level number. Okay. Well, we're not setting up the levels, so we are going to copy this bit. Copy that bit. Put it in there, because that's what we did before, so might as well do it again. Don't like it, but there we go. Right, so we're loading the current level from that. So that's basically setting up. So it says enter in level 2, enter in level 3, enter in level 4. Right, we can try that out. Where's the RTS? Have I lost it? Yeah, I've lost it. Right. So, squares 32768. So we're entering level 1 here. So let's boost it a bit. So 2. Right, so when we press Phi, it should say entering level 4. No, entering level G. That's because we've moved over, haven't we? So we need to move over our digits by 2. 1. That looks like it's 3. So, yeah, I would say that's, let's try B. Yeah. But the only reason I'm copying it is because I can't be asked to write a divide by 10 routine. And I suppose it's a quick way of doing it. So, right, okay, so now fire. So, 10. Already there, already there. F. Or maybe I am, no, it's not B, it's C. Maybe it's C. Also, current level number. That's definitely current level number. So we're definitely storing it in the current level number. Right, okay. F6. Let's see if it represents it now. Right, so it's not adding up. Okay. Let's put a breakpoint and see what's going on. There we go. So we'll go to the other one, which is Control Shift 5. And we'll see what's going on. So put 4 on the clock. Fire. Right, here we go. So we're loading 35. So 35 should be 4. There we go. Increase 055C. Yep, it did it. Load 055C. Compare it with 38. Is it equal? No, it's not. That should be going back round. Have I put the wrong jump in? What? Oh, I've put it in the wrong place, haven't I? Should be there. Let's call that something a bit better then. I'll do. Level counter not hit 10. That should do it. Right. Put 4. Fire. There we go. Entering level 4. So we're sorted. So now here's the fun stuff, because we've got to make that 4 change colour and then have the sound effects. So he's jumping to this. So this is where he's setting, so he's setting the volume of the SID. Okay, so we'll do the same thing. So we'll copy that. I'm gonna have to sort this out, I think. So we'll have a SID section. In fact, right, let's do that. We'll import that lot. And we will import that at the bottom. T. Right, we've called it GridRunner SID. Yeah. So he, the master himself, then sets the SID to max. And then where does he go then? Right, let's see what he's doing. So he's setting it to do 30 cycles. So he loads the cycle counter and stores it in the color location. Then he does a delay. So he's doing DX twice. That's up the top, isn't it? So it looks like he's going to run through it twice. He's running through this sound loop 36 hex 30 times, and then he's delaying, and then he works out the new frequency. But for every loop, he's looping it. So he's got two. Use the force or Google. He's got two. Looks like he's got two loops running. So he's got his outer loop, which is set to 30, and then hex 30, and then the inner loop is set to 30 as well. And in there, he's got a delay, right? But it looks like when he's decrementing the outer loop by 1, he's also decrementing the inner loop by 1. So the sound effects get faster and faster as he goes through it. And I think that's how he's doing it. So what I was thinking was of using the scan, the Vic framing as the marker. So we would be running at PAL's 50 frames a second, isn't it? PAL's 50 frames a second, yeah? It's NTSC that's 60, is that right? Is that right? Right. So if we use the screen framing as our constant, because Jeff's not doing that. He's relying on delays, specifically timed delays, and I'm trying to make it that we're not doing any delays. We'll use the cycle framing of the Vic chip to do it. So let's say if we're 50 frames a second, that means that we can utilize that framing for the looping of the sound effects and the color. So we'll do the same thing here. So he's saying, so we need another constant. So 36, I don't think we've got 36 in here, have we? No. So we'll use 36 as the generic looping counter. So we will use that as our counter. So we're going to load. We'll do the same thing there. Load hash $30, and we'll store it in our generic looping counter. So I'm just thinking at the moment. I was wondering whether to put it in the sound library. You know, would we use this feature anywhere else? I suppose we could. All right then. So we store it in there, and then we've got the looper. So this is the so this is the battle station sound loop. So battle stations sound loop. Now I'm a little bit scared. All right, mate. Think about that Python challenge. Yeah. Let's get you out of putting a name in a box. And I'll talk to you soon, yeah? So there's our this is going to scare me because I've never done sound effects and yeah. So he's storing it, and then he's loading right, so he's storing it, and then we need to load it in and then store it in our colors. Store it in the entry color, so it then does the flashing of the colors. But now I think we can make this into a routine. So we could do LDX. Yeah, LDX that, and then JSR. Yeah. Let's copy that. Oh, the frequency loops there. Right, let's copy that. So let's see. Wibble, wobble, sound effects. Because that's basically it. So X register contains loop iterations. Right, so the X register is going to contain the loop so we can make this generic. So so we could send any X cycle in there and it would do it. So he's got the delay, so that's his delay. Now we're not going to be using a delay. I want to use the IRQ. I want to use the IRQ, the framing. So where's my 64 constants? So it's that Vic raster. So here I want to LDA hash 240 and then loop. So I want to have a raster loop, compare it with the raster, branch is not equal to raster loop. Oh, by the way, have you noticed it's not auto-filling for me? I think it was Gary. I think it was Gary Meg spotted the and Cyberflyer. I think it was spotted the setting in VS Code, and it allows you to get it to it tells it not to auto pick the suggestion when you press enter. You have to press tab to get it. It's a lot better. Yeah, it's in settings. It was in the there we go. It's in the suggestions, right? This is on by default, right? You turn it off. And it means that when you turn it off, it means it's not, enter's no longer going to be used as its suggestion. So when you press enter, it used to populate it, and it was drawing me up the wall. Now, you turn it off, and it's only tab. So it's that if you want it, you press tab. All right. So it's that, and Gary Meg and I think it was Cyberflyer as well figured it out for me. So you can thank them when they're around. Right, so that's the delay out. So let's have a look at this function. This working out the frequency. So he's loading 40 and then subtracting the index and then storing it. Okay. Well, we can do that. So work out wibble wobble frequency. I mean, he's storing it in the current snake index. I suppose, yeah, he could do it because we're not using it yet. Right, so we then JSR that. Get rid of the no ops, we don't need them. So he's Is that better? No problem, mate. Not a problem at all. Right, so he's working out the frequency and stores it into voice 1 and then stores it in voice 2, voice 3. Resets the voices, I suppose that is. Stores it in all and then sets. Alright, so that's a triangular one. And then he's reducing the cycling, which then goes back. And then we wait for the next frame. Okay. Right, let's see. So we are JSRing to wibble wobble sound effect. Because we load X with it. Then he is it's here. So we've taken that bit out now. So now he's decreasing 36. So we've got a constant for 36. So let's grab it. So he's decreasing 36 and then branch if not equal to the sound loop, which he's at the top, so that's that. So it decreases, it goes back through and it does another 30 cycles doing this thing. Then we finish. Okay. Let's see if I've understood this, shall we? And let's see what happens. Let's see if we get any noises out of it. Oh, this is gonna sound awful. Right then, press fire. Here we go. Have I got it on the right setting? Speed is at 50%. Let's put it at 100. Back to 100. Here we go. Nothing. Yes. So clearly the framing is making it too slow. Yes, so it's making it too slow. Okay, mate. I'll see you next time, yeah? So the screen framing is not helping. So we may have to this one is in here. We may have to, right, we'll do this branch if minus and we'll decrease it by 2, so it's doing a double step. See if we can speed it up a bit. Wow. Oh, wasn't quite what I wanted. Ooh, here we go. We're on the right track. think one more will do it. See what the original was like. Oh, Alt J. Or is it Alt J? Or is it Control J? No. Joystick swap. Alt J. Okay. Alt J. Yeah, it's still rapidly quick, isn't it? It's still rapidly quick, that is. How are we going to do that? Because, I mean, I could make it do a DEX again, but it's going to start sounding a bit ropey in a minute. Let's try again. Oh, Alt J. What do you think? Let's yeah, it's almost there. Let's right, this is his delay routine. So let's have a look at his delay routine and see what it is. So he's doing a two-stage delay on 20. Okay. And the two-stage delay I think is up. 8388, 8388. So let's see if we right 88. So it's a two-stage delay. So he's loading 20 and he's put it in there and he's delaying for 20 there. That's the two-stage. So he's loading 20 and he's delaying it for 20 loops. Oh, hang on. Hang on a sec. Let's move that over. Let's get rid of the files. Let's move that over. Let's get another column going so we can see what's going on. So you should be able, yeah, you can see that. Right, okay, so let's go back. 8D. I think it was around there, 8D. Here we go, we're here. So set up, go to definition, here we go. So this is the delayer here. Oh, it's down here. So he's loading 20 into the accumulator and then he's jumping to the two-stage delay, which is here. Stores it in 30, decrements 30, branches to there. If it's equal, and then he decrements again. But that'd be 255. And so he's doing a 255 loop. So he's doing a 20 loop and then a 255 loop. Okay. We'll grab all of this and we'll put it in hours, which is here. So let's just move that over there out of the way a bit and move that there. So we'll put it here. So this is the 2-stage. So we'll create a constant for that. Dot label delay loop counter. So that's there, there, there. Right, let's get rid of all this. We don't need it. Right. Get my OCD out the way. So he's loading he's loading that. So that's what he's doing. So we can do that in the SID here. So he does the delay first. So we'll do the same. So it's LDA hash $20 and then JSR the 2-stage delay, because that's basically what he's doing. Now that's not going to know about that because I'm not including that in here. Right, so we will rem this out and see if we can get the same effect that Jeff did. Okay, let's do F6. See if it works. Oh my God, that was really quick. That was really quick. So he's loading hash $20, hash $20, and then he's jumping to 2-stage delay. 2-stage delay loads. Right, so he's 2-stage delay, that's there. Loads 30. Does his go really that fast? Oh, Alt J. No. His is slower. So what am I missing? What am I missing? It's the same. It's the same. Load 20, going to the 2-stage delay, which is here. Oh, hang on. I've still got all these DXs in, haven't I? Right, let's try that again. Alt J. Right, so that's what he's doing. Right, so we need to work out how we can replicate that without having to do this delay. I don't like doing this delay because the colours don't come out on the screen because they are updating. Hang on a sec. I think someone's coming to bed. Lord of the Rings is over. Right, so I think we can make this test for multiple rasters. Yeah, I think we can try and do that. So we're going to work it out. So so if we want to do it 4 times, then it's going to be 256, that's 1. So 128 is 2, so that's 128 and 0. So then it's 128, 64, so 0, 64, 128. Right, so we can do that. So we could try and do that. Because I still prefer the raster. So we'll do that. We'll bring this back into play. So what we're going to do is create another. So we'll use this delay counter as our raster. So we store 0 into the raster. Right. So here, before we do the DX, we can do load that, add 40, store it back into it. And because it's still in the accumulator, oh, hang on. No, it's right. But we don't want it to jump to here. We want it to here, jump to here. So loop, wibble, wobble, effect. So that's that. So this should check. This should run 4 times during the frame. So it'll start at 0, and then we add 40, and then it'll go to 40, 128, 196. All right, let's see if my theory's getting close. Alt J, come on. It's too slow. Right, so let's try and see if we can get this thing to do every 20. We've got no delays in there, so it should be able to do it. So this is going to run 8 times a frame now. I do believe we've nailed it. That sounded bang on, didn't it? Hang on, let's run the original. Alt J. And then hours, but not using the delay, yeah? So F6. Alt J. What do you think? I think we've got it. I think that's done it. What do you think? Why am I rewriting it? As in using the Vic framing instead of using the delays? I'm trying to use the Vic framing as my master clock, yeah, because the way Jeff's done it, he's done it by delays, yeah, and so the screen doesn't update quick enough in his code. That's why sometimes you can blow up when you don't think you blow up. So what I'm trying to do is use the Vic framing as the master clock, yeah, and then everything's running off the Vic framing. So the sound effect. So the sound effects work off the Vic framing. So it's either 50 cycles a second and then or 60 cycles a second for the NTS. Hello, you. Did you enjoy Lord of the Rings? Eh? Did you enjoy Lord of the Rings? Well, I'm streaming now. I've got a lot of people watching me. Yeah? Yeah? Okay? You alright now? Alright. Go on then, back in your bed. Back in your bed. Sounded a bit slow. I think, to be honest, I think I can get away with that. Let's just run it again. I don't think it's a million miles away. It was a lot slower before, but it's not now, I don't think. Yeah, I think we can get away with that. Right, so the next bit we need to do is, let's run it on this one. No, can't do it exact when we're doing the Vic framing, because like I say, his delays are all over the shop, you know. His delays are all over the place. I wish I could. Right, so the next thing is building the grid, and that sound effect as well. So we'll spend another 30 minutes doing this because the other half it's just gone bad. And see if we can do the next bit. So it's this bit now. Right, so let me slow this down so we can see what's going on. Alt J. Right, I've slowed it down, yeah, so we can see what's going on. So the grid goes that way with a sound effect, and then down excuse me, with a sound effect. Since I'll be using the V blank, there'll be other things that will vary. Yeah, there'll be other sound effects that won't be bang on. But like I say, I'm trying to use the framing as the master clock. So of course some of the timings will be slightly different. But hopefully we'll have a better responsive game that will, if you die, you know you die, instead of, huh? I was nowhere near that. Yes, I understand that. I understand that. I understand that. Right, so we've done the battle stations, which is this bit. The next one is to draw the grid. Right, so create another one, JSR, draw game grid. Oh, that sounds very Tron, doesn't it? Draw game grid. Right, let's see what happens when we draw the game grid. So what is he doing? So let's see if we can catch up with what he's doing. So he's this is the game activation. So screen build, grid building. Here we go. So he's starting at column 2. Right, so he's starting at column 2, and then he's drawing it further down with the sound effect. Okay. Right, so he's using this routine. So we'll put that in our SID file. So that's set noise for voice 1 and 2. I noticed that just a little bit further down here, there. And so that's the row. What's 8 and 9? Oh, we haven't got 8 and 9. So 8 is column, 9 is row. Right, okay. We'll put them in there when we get there. So the problem is you could see it building, couldn't you? You could see the grid building down and then building across. Let's just run it again. We'll run it at full speed though. Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, well, that's going to be painful. Right. Right. Okay, so he's not showing the line being drawn down. It's appearing, and then the next one's appearing, and then the next one. So that's where our framing is. So that's where our screen cycling is going to be. So we draw the line in the single frame, then draw the next line in the single frame, then draw the next line in the single frame. So that will be, yes. So that's what we're going to do. So we will has he got get character? No, he's got set character. So get character and set, we're going to have to get, yeah, there we go. We're going to have to copy this. We'll put it up above there. I know, we need get character as well. There we go. Get character from thingy address. Where's the line? Just a bit further up. There we go. Right, so we'll put them there. That should all rectify. Yes, it does. Okay. So we're back here again. So building. So we'll copy this because it looks like this is. Where's he looping? Right, so build the screen, outer column, inner column. So that's the inner one. So where is this the outer one? Nope. There. Nope. That one is. Right. So that's the first half, and then he's got the second half there. So we're going to split this up. So that's the first half. So we'll have one draw vertical vertical grid lines. So that's what we're going to do first. So that's that effectively. So we don't need that. Don't need that or that or that. I need to find out what that's all about. We don't need that at all. Why is that in there? I have no idea. Because that's going to the same place. That's going to there, and then that's going to the outside. Right, let's get rid of all this. I'll leave that one in because I need to find out what that's doing. Right, let's get my spacing sorted. Right, what's that? Let's find what that is. dump FX special. Okay, we'll put that in the SID to that, not branching anywhere else. No, so we'll put that in there. Get rid of that. What's in 10? Constants, what's 10? We haven't got a 10. Inc. 01. Let's have a look. Is there a 10 in here? Do we store in 010? No. Right. Okay, right, so this is storing it in the number, so we'll create a new constant for 8. Dot label grid column 8 and grid row. So all the 08s can be changed to that. That is a constant, and I think that's the grid size. Where are we? Yeah. Matrix column size +1. So 9 is the row. So we're starting off at 2, load it in, increase it, load it in, check that we have got it. Right, so this is that. So we'll find out what that's all about in a minute. So I'm just wondering if 10 is some sort of sound delay. So right. And he's loading the grid column frequency there and there. Right. So basically we're starting at grid 2 and we're loading the grid color and the thing. We're setting up the SID chip to start with. Really, do we really? Yeah. Then we set the character, do the noise, load X with 1. Oh, we do a DX there, but we've also done a DY, and I can't see an LDY anywhere. I can't see an LDY anywhere. is the code again? Oh, there it is. Is there an LDY in there? No. Why have I got a DEY and a D? Oh, that's here, isn't it? DY, branch if not equal to, there, and then doing a DX. I've got a sneaky suspicion that DEY is irrelevant. Right, okay, let's try it. So we're drawing the vertical lines first. So I've got draw grid in the loop, haven't I? Yeah. Right, let's see what happens. Admittedly, I haven't got any framing in yet, so we've still got that to do. Oh, I've got it on slow, haven't I? J. Whoa, we're getting there. We are getting there. So I want to put the framing in now, because I want to make it draw a column and let the frame catch up. So we will borrow this code. We will borrow that. So matrix bottom, branch if not equal to there. So that's where we're going to put it. We're going to put it there. 240. Get rid of that. Right, let's see if that runs a little bit smoother. Well, obviously I got it wrong. So I've put it in the wrong place then. So it must be that outer loop there. Before it draws the line. Let's try that. Nice. Nice. So we need to do the same with the horizontal, which, if I'm looking at it, is this bit. Doing the dump again to there. Right, so we've got draw vertical grid line. So the next one is draw horizontal grid line. Yes. Let's give it some space. So same thing again. That's that. Get rid of that. That is the same thing he's doing down there. I don't think this DY is required. Do that. get rid of that and that. That and that. Right, so 8 is the column. Right, and 9 is the row. Okay, so we will copy this bit and put it on there, because that's where the row's starting. So we draw the grid row, it comes back round. We don't need that, because that's me messing, I think it was. Yes, it was. Don't need this. Right. Draw a horizontal. Let's run it. Let's see if we get the Nice. Nice. Let's do that again. Right. Bingo. Right. So, oops, I've done it again. F5, wrong one. F6. Oh, Alt J. So it's just the materialization of the ship, and then we're into the game. Okay, right. So this is the original. All right, you ready? All right. And now this is mine. What's missing? So when the ship enters his is blank. You mean the sound? Yeah, because I've just got a looper. I think his next sound effect when the ship materializes overwrites the current sound effect. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. My noise effect does the decay and release bit at the end, doesn't it? The sustain and the release bit at the end. But I think on Jeff's, because he overrides the sound when he does the ship materialization, it resets itself. So on the next stream, when we do the ship materialization system and setting up the leveling, I think you'll see that on the next stream, you'll see that when we do the materialization, it'll sound like Jeff's. It's just that I've got it now in an infernal loop, so I've not told the SID chip to shut off. I think that's my understanding. Yeah. We're trying to make it as close as we can to the original, but using the modern techniques. Right. Well, that is a 2.5 hour stream, and the other half's gone to bed. So I think this is a great point to stop it. Yeah, we've managed to do the battle stations animation and the sound effect, and we've now built. No idea. I suppose we'll never know unless we ask him. But I've told him I'm doing this, and I've had no response. So I've no idea. So we'll see. But I think this is a good place to stop. Yeah. So in the next stream, we'll do the ship materialization and the leveling setting up, and this will then allow us after that is to start working on all the different aspects of the game and the game loop. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And FaZe, it looks like you're the only one that's in the chat, mate. It says I've only got one person viewing. Is that you? Anybody else in chat? Oh, hey Gray. Twitch says I've only got one person watching. Alright, so I will see you in the next stream. You're a phantom. Alright guys, well take care, and I'll see you next time. Alright, see you later, take care. I'd like to thank all the patrons that are contributing to my channel. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. Thank you very much.